Today's liturgy speaks to us of following the law, obeying the law. And how well things will go with us if we do, to the letter, everything. Here, of course, what is being referred to is the ancient Mosaic law, in particular the Decalogue, the Ten Commandments, which guide us into guide us in our relationship with each other and all of creation. Those are the second 7 commandments. And directly with our relationship with God, the first 3 commandments. And we are told if we are to be the greater in the kingdom of heaven, if we want to achieve the highest we can, we must obey all of them. Now, another way of looking at and reviewing the 10 Commandments, how we are to follow our relationship with each other and with God, is to look at the virtues. The virtues, we have 2. There's what we are dealing with here are habits, what we do habitually, what we do continually. And there are 2 ways we can go, of course. You have the good habits, which are the virtues. And you have the bad habits, which are the vices. And if we do so directly against God, then it's sin. And we easily fall into, because of the weakness of our nature due to sin, we fall into the bad habits, the vices, easily. So what we have to do is start practicing the good habits, the virtues, which will then lead us, guide us in our relationship with each other and in our relationship with God. In our relationship with God, the virtues are called the theological virtues. That's faith, hope, and charity. Faith, we must go on believing always. Always. In matters of doubt, if we begin to doubt, we must just simply go on believing. It is revealed to us here. God is there, we just must go on believing. Always. Hope, we must never give up. As if we will believe, we always have hope then. Always. And it's a great hope. Our salvation, our union with God, that's a great hope. And then charity, which can be defined, is defined as the love of God for the sake of God. So all we do, and this is what crowns everything else, all for the love of God. And why? Because He loves us so much already. He wouldn't have suffered and died on the cross for us if He didn't love us. Well, He wouldn't have created us. He wouldn't keep us alive. He wouldn't preserve us if He didn't love us. He wouldn't remain with us day and night, hidden in the Blessed Sacrament, if He didn't love us. He loves us. So we must love Him in return. That's charity. And so what we do for Him, for His sake, the love of God. That is charity. And then we have all those, there are 4 virtues upon which are hinged all the other virtues, which cover all the other virtues, called the cardinal virtues. Prudence, let's start with, prudence, temperance, justice, and fortitude. Right. Prudence guides us how we practice all the other virtues. Justice is what is due to everyone else, what we owe to everyone else. Fortitude, that's strength to carry out all the virtues, to do what we have to do. And temperance, that guidance between, that balance between what is right and what is wrong. The balance, or I should say what is too lenient, what is too excessive, which can be. That balance, that's temperance. And then they are hooked to all of those virtues that we just mentioned, 4. A whole host of others. But that's what we need to practice, and the more we do, You see, the better off, the closer we come to God. We have to practice those virtues. We have to look at ourselves. What virtues do we need to practice the most? Perhaps the most common we hear, most of us who hear confessions regularly, the one most common thing we hear is probably that of patience. Sometimes anger. When we get angry, I get impatient. I can't control myself. Well, first of all, I have to recognize, yes, we must pray incessantly for the virtues. We must pray for patience. We must pray for calm, meekness. Yeah. But that means God is going to send us the opportunities to practice that virtue. That's how He's going to work. He'll give us the grace. We have to work with it, though. And He's going to give us the opportunities to practice. So we have to practice. We have to make ourselves practice. That's where the penance and mortification comes in. To make ourselves practice those particular virtues so that we can improve ourselves. A little example. I'll give two. One, we just passed the Winter Olympics. All right, in order for the competitors to perform, and they have to perform very well in order to win the gold medal, right? Or any other medals for that matter. They have to perform well. In order to prepare themselves, they have to work out continually at doing what they do. Perhaps one of the most beautiful, best examples we can think of is the figure skating. In order to make those perfect figures, in order to make those perfect moves, all right, that will attract everyone, that'll be beautiful. They have to work out. They have to keep working on it, practice over and over and over and over again in order to achieve. All right? That is what we refer to as virtues. Another example is when you learn to play a musical instrument. In order to play it well, and if you want to perform at all, then you'll have to play it well. You can't go out there and be mediocre. It just won't work. You won't win that way. You won't achieve. You have to practice. And in order to maintain that skill, you have to keep practicing. Even every day, perhaps even an hour every day, 3 hours every day. Those are, I've known those who seek to play extraordinarily well. They'll practice even 3 hours every day. But you have to practice continually. You can't just stop. Once you stop, you're going to lose the skill. You're going to begin to get weak again. You will weaken. You never say, now I've reached a point, now I've gone as far as I have to. You can never stop. You will weaken. And you'll begin to go backwards. We must incessantly carry on. That's why it's called a habit. We have to make a habit of it. We have to work at that skill, whatever it is, in order to get our bodies to do exactly what needs to be done, in order to perform that skill well. And if we don't, we'll weaken and we'll never be able to get there. We'll never get proficient. You see? So we must continually practice. We must continually work on performing those good habits, patience, meekness, right? Calm, that will help us grow closer to God. Quiet, silence. There are a host of virtues, many. But we must work on those particular habits, the good habits. That's virtue. This will help us grow in our relationship with God, and it will help us achieve our union with Him. We must practice continually, and we must just pray incessantly for the graces we need. Not that God isn't willing to grant them. He does grant them. But He wants us to exercise our free will, choose it. He wants us to tell our Lord, tell Him, we want to, you work with it. We want to perform. We want to achieve union with you. And we have to work then, practice those virtues. It will entail sacrifice. It will entail that we're wearing ourselves out. Right? Some wearing and tearing. That's the mortification. It will entail that. But with the grace of God, we can do it. All things are possible. We can do it. If for no other reason, then that's what God wills of us. For the love of God, let us do it to achieve not a crown that withers, not a medal that will end up giving up one day, but eternal union with God in paradise. Praised be Jesus in Mary.